Glad to have you with us for another edition of Texan Live's high school football wrap-up show in partnership with Cron.com. I'm Sean Bajani alongside the head coach himself, the owner of Texan Live, Bert Brocker, for another great week of high school football in the state of Texas and around the Houston area. We're going to hear from Texan Live reporter Bailey Logston along with Heather Kelfie coming up later on in the show. We'll also get you the top teams in the area and the 5A and 6A power rankings. A little movement. I'm not going to tell you in which one yet, though. You'll have to wait and see. A little movement this week in the power rankings. But as always, we're going to get right to our game of the week. And we had a good one this week. Barbers Hill and New Caney, they were going at it at a District 21 5A. We had a chance to catch up with both Coach Pennington and Westerberg before tonight's tilt. Take a look.
This is going to be one heck of a football game.
Excited excited ever since a year ago.
This game is going to basically determine if we're playoff bound.
This is a really big week for us, and it'll really boost our team if we can get this win.
No pressure at all. Just go out there and play next opponent. Doing our thing and trying to make it perfect.
And right now we're on a pretty good win streak. They're on a good win streak, so I think it's going to be a pretty good game.
And when you play somebody like Barbers Hill, they do a super job over there, and you know we're just going to go into it just like we do every week.
Right now we're battling to get in the playoffs with 2 losses in district. We're right there with a bunch of other people, and right now New Caney and Crosby are undefeated at the top, and so we're battling. Our kids, their backs are up against the wall, and that's why they're playing so hard right now.
And this is a tough old district. I mean, you got to play every week, and we feel like our toughest 3 are the next 3 we've got, but we can't play the other 2 till we get past this one. So, you know, we're just working hard and getting ready to play those guys.
Firing over the middle, that pass is caught by Rose. Touchdown, Barbers Hill. Cooper keeps it going right. Has Greengrass in front of him. Gets inside the 10. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, New Caney. They're finally on the board. Holland is in the shotgun. Looks left. Fires deep down middle. Wide open man. Touchdown, Barbers Hill. Brady Rogers. 64 yards. Going down at 60. Down to the Barbers Hill crowd. Cooper fires left, and it is caught for the touchdown. Dwight McLaughlin. Cooper shotgun. Play fakes, throws over the middle, and that pass is caught for the touchdown.
And there's the final 49-21. Barbers Hill takes it. Barbers Hill now improves to 5-2 in district play, 6-2 overall on the season. A huge win for them this evening.
Well, and the thing is and Coach Pennington talked about it, he's still got a tough schedule. He's got Porter, battle line of 59 coming up next week, and then he finishes the season with Crosby. So Barbers Hill, Coach Westerberg, you know, real clear. He knew what he had to do, had to get a win here tonight, and his boys pulled it off for him. And what a great job. But this district, you know, a lot of talent, lots of talent in this district. And it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. Of course, you'll hear a little later on what Crosby did tonight and what the rest of the teams in that district did. But a lot of good football play.
You're right. This district alone could be responsible for a lot of movement in the power rankings in weeks to come. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. Next, we take you out to District 23 6A. Fort Bend, Elsick, and Dawson going at it this evening. Dawson looking to stay perfect in district play tonight, taking on Fort Bend, Elsick. Darren Ayers had the call from the rig.
Same formation. And the football up the middle to Darius Smith. And he's going to score from 6 yards out. They're going to hand the football off to Darius Smith, trying to get to the pylon, and he does. The University of Arizona commit with his 2nd touchdown on the evening from 2 yards out. Split wide receiver look. Handoff Smith, and he's up the middle, touchdown. Darius Smith scores his 3rd touchdown on the night from 8 yards out, and Dawson leads it 20-0. Darius Smith with Patrick Kramer. Kramer's going to roll out to his right, hits Spencer Wells at the 12-yard line, cuts up 5-4. Is he in? Kramer, he's going to hand it to Smith, and he is going to have the touchdown right up the middle. And the University of Arizona verbal commit has his 4th touchdown on the evening.
28-0 Dawson over Alief Elsik this evening. Dawson now 6-1 on the season, improves to 4-0 in District 23-6A. Bert, impressive victory. Anytime your club can get a shutout and do it in impressive fashion like that, I mean, it's got to be a huge boost for Dawson.
Well, and and Dawson coming off an emotional win last week over Pearland. Last second field goal. Your homecoming queen from a week before that knocks through the winning field goal, and got national attention. Great job for her, great job for the Dawson. But more importantly, you stay focused, and their head coach, he is leaving after this year, but he's got these kids playing, and they're trying to go deep in the playoffs, and what a good job he's doing right now.
Well, they're looking on point right now, absolutely. An undefeated mark in district play will certainly go a long way. We'll take you out to some Katy ISD action brought to you by the city of Katy, Tompkins and Katy. Now, Tompkins, they were involved in some very close games to start the season in out-of-district play. But since district play began, Tompkins has really had a rough go of it. Had some tough games in which they struggled to put points up on the board, and they ran into a buzzsaw in the Katy Tigers this evening. Michael Silvers had the call from Legacy Stadium. Take a look.
In under center. He'll take the snap. On the play action, rolls to his left, throws to the end zone, caught, touchdown, Jordan Patrick. Group, and it just takes a while to sit there and master the zone blocking. On 2nd down, this is Bronson McClellan, the quarterback, and he hands it off to DeAndre Glass, left side, breaking tackles across the 10, 5, touchdown. 1st and 10, handoff, Oglesby to the outside 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Bye week. Here's the 3rd down and 5 play after the timeout. Mayberry fires right. That's intercepted, and it'll be a pick 6. Joel Mavis, touchdown. Baskerville and Villegas lined up to the left side. Villegas in the slot. Here's a pitch left. Sampson to the end zone. Touchdown.
$62-0 the final. That well-oiled machine, the Katy Tigers, defeats and shuts out Tompkins and the Falcons. Tompkins now 0-7 on the season. Katy improves to a perfect 6-0. Bert, they did it in all facets of the game tonight. And just marveling a little bit at the highlights there, the push that offensive line from Katy routinely gets. I mean, look, DeAndre Glass is good, but that offensive line makes him look really good.
Yeah, and I was watching earlier, Fox Sports Southwest, watching Tipper and them, and they were actually talking about this is, you hate to say moral victory, but this is one of the games that Katy, 62-0, that's one of the smallest victories that Katy's had over them. And it just shows how dominant of a program, this Katy Tiger team is. It's unbelievable what Coach Joseph, you got Glass back healthy, Oglesby, what a two-headed monster running back. What a great place for a coach to be.
Right.
And defense, let's go defense. 0.
Yeah,
Last
0.
week we talked about it. Katy's defense, in watching what they did when they win state championships, Katy's defense is flying around the ball. They played a wonderful game against the Woodlands, and it looks like Katy really is going to have to be looked at deep in the playoff, if not making it all the way to the state championship.
No doubt about it. Before we get to our 6A power rankings, we're going to take you out. Cinco Ranch and Seven Lakes went after it this evening. Cinco Ranch looking for a 6th win on the season overall and a 4th district dub this evening. From Rhodes Stadium, Patrick Creighton had the call.
This time they'll give it to Keithy. Up the middle, breaks through, foot race time. They're not going to get him. Touchdown, Cougars. Brant Keithy, 52 yards. Keithy to his right, 2 receivers to the right. Keithy into the line, diving towards, and he's going to be down about the 1. Their offense has struggled. Here's Keithy up the middle into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the night.
Quick throw, right side, complete, breaks a tackle down the sideline, and goes across the 50. 1 man to beat, cuts back, 20, 10, 5, into the end zone, touchdown Cougars! Eashley in the gun, Crawford to his right, 2 receivers to the right. Snap, looks to throw, fires towards the end zone, and into the end zone for the touchdown!
Winners of 4 straight, Cinco Ranch gets a 5th this evening with a 33-13 victory over the Seven Lakes Spartans. And look, Bert, now as we shift to our 6A power rankings, you know, Cinco Ranch last week came in at number 10. And look, Seven Lakes, it's a program that, you know, has struggled offensively this season. And look, you do your job if you're Cinco Ranch. You held them to just 13 points. You took care of business offensively. I got to tell you, while we haven't seen any movement in the 6A power rankings this week, expect to see plenty in the weeks to come.
Well, and again, we'll go over it whenever we get into the power rankings here in a little bit. But, you know, right now, you know, I know I'm probably taking it from body, but the pretenders are actually, they're getting knocked off. And the teams that are setting themselves up for a playoff run, Cinco Ranch, of course, Keithy, we last week 5 touchdowns, week 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, the kid's a big kid, super fast when he gets the edge. Again tonight, 3 touchdowns early. You know, and that's the difference. Their defense is playing good football where they're supposed to be, but now offensively they're starting to click on all cylinders, and that's what helped Cinco Ranch last year on their run to make it to the semifinal. And that's where I see this is another team that could go deep again this year. They're getting hot at the right time.
We've got to get a hard number on Keithy's touchdown total, because the first couple of games this season it looked like he might vie for the state record, which was set last year, I want to say about 83. We're going to do some homework for you on that one and get you a hard number. And as I'm sure Keithy will put up 4, 5, 6 more maybe between now and the next time we do this show. But it is now time for the 6A power rankings. Take a look at your screen here. We just got done talking about Cinco Ranch. You saw right there last week, Bert, nothing's changed. It stayed the same. No movement in 6A. Cinco Ranch at number 10. And again, as I mentioned, look, they took care of business against the school in Seven Lakes tonight that they should have. I don't know if that moves them. Here's the problem, Bert. To move up, somebody's got to fall off. And the problem is you've got Katy, Klein, Collins, Westfield, 3 undefeated teams there at 1, 2, and 3. That's going to be a problem.
Well, and then you look at the Woodlands, and the Woodlands is a team that the only loss is to Katy. And then you come back and, you know, you go into Cy-Fair, Langham Creek. They're headed towards a shootout the last week of the season. Very easily could both be undefeated going into that game. And, you know, so right now, there's a lot of teams out there that are still undefeated that heading into the end, somebody's going to have to win. There are a couple matches left that are actually district games. But if you look at the top of the board, Katy, look at their schedule, Klein Collins, Westfield, the Woodlands, Atascocita. I mean, there's some teams on here that going into this probably won't lose before the playoffs. And,
I agree with you.
Even Cinco Ranch, for that matter.
The Woodlands, they're dominating, folks. Cy-Fair doesn't look like it's going to fall off and lose a game anytime soon. But
Langham Creek, that one of those two, 5 and 6. So the power rankings, regardless where it ends up, one will be a 1 seed, and I don't know if they're big, small. I have not got that deep into it. We'll get deeper into that next week. But one of these two teams will have a loss going into the playoffs because they play each other last week of the season.
Right.
So you got to have a loser. I don't think we'll play to a tie.
The most interesting thing to me, real quick, is Lamar. You know, they're 5 and 1. They lost to Klein Collins the first game of the season.
In a very close game.
In a close game. I think they played them the closest. Maybe it was 24-21 if memory serves me right. But Ridge Point, they lost to Dickinson
in double overtime.
Double overtime. I want to say that was week 2 or 3 of the season. That's their one blemish. So if there is a weak link amongst the teams in the top 10 right now, just given the type of season that Dickinson has had to this point, I'd have to say Ridge Point is probably that team that maybe falls off a little bit. And as Atascocita continues to dominate folks since the second week of the season, as we saw Cinco Ranch here in the last highlight package, as they start to get clicking offensively, those two teams could be eking up to maybe not the top 5 right now, but maybe 6 or 7.
Absolutely. And, and once you get into the playoffs, it's one and done.
Sure.
So in a completely different scenario there. So, but a lot of exciting football left to go over here tonight.
Absolutely. And, coming up, we just finished our 6A power rankings. We've got some movement in the 5A rankings that we'll bring you here in just a moment. Back now to more Friday night action. Magnolia and Tomball going at it. Magnolia looking to notch a district win after 2 straight losses over the last couple of weeks, taking on Tomball Memorial this evening. J.W. Smith called it from Tomball. Take a look.
Takes the snap, drops back under pressure. It's going to be a screenplay, tossing the ball. He's got Perkins at the 20, down to the 5, touchdown! Touchdown, Bryce Perkins. And that will tie the ball game. And here comes Baker. Will talk to his offensive line. Now he'll stand back at the 10-yard line awaiting the snap. He'll clap his hands. Here comes the snap. Drops back under pressure from the near side. He'll get flushed out to the near side. And he's going to get away from the tacklers and take it himself down to 30, 35, 40. Across midfield. He might go all the way down to the 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Drew Baker, and a late flag comes in. Takes the snap, hands the ball off to Johnson, who'll take it up the middle, breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, across the 30, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Bulldogs, big play there for Johnson. All once. Magnolia ate up about half of the third quarter with their time with the ball. Here's the snap, hands the ball off, coming to the near side is Lubbock, who stutter step, finds some room, down to 5, he dives for the end zone, and it's a touchdown as he lost the ball, but was able to get to the pylon, especially if you score here. But with how much time they ate off the clock, as Johnson will take that one and come towards the near side, a lot of room to run across midfield, down to the 40-yard line to the 35, 30, one man to beat, 15, 10, 5, and he's going to be forced out of bounds. No, he's got the touchdown. Jump
to the 4th spot.
Here's the snap. Handoff goes to a running back coming towards the near side. Down the sidelines. He's out of bounds. No, he's still in bounds. Down the sideline. 35, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Johnson. And this week.
Again, yes. There's some move up again, yes.
Going up the middle is going to be Lovick, who takes it towards the far side. And he's got to the 5, and he's got the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats, with 1:58 to go with this ball.
An incredible game, but Tomball Memorial finishes out on top. 48-39 the final. Tomball Memorial, huge win for them, Bert, their first district dub, and it took some incredibly athletic plays to get it tonight.
Well, the thing is, we saw this district, there's been a lot of high-scoring games, and, you see Baker, his long run, all the moves he made for about a 90, 92-yard. Then you come back and you see, running down the sideline. Looked like he was out of bounds 2 or 3 times. And that those are the kind of plays that absolutely, it just brings excitement. We were both sitting here going, holy cow, what a play. Yeah. And that's the kind of plays it was.
It was, really some incredible patience, to break some of those long runs, as you saw there, a couple of them by Johnson, just waiting for the hole to open up. And if it didn't look, he was patient enough to let the blocks clear, bounce it outside, and it was off to the races. I mean, just some incredible athleticism, but patience is what made some of those plays.
Well, and you look at a young man like that, that's the kind of guy that, as a scout, they'll be looking through that. Those are the kind of plays you want to see. You want a guy that has the ability to set up something out in front of him. Like you said, Johnson did a really, really nice job. Unfortunately, Magnolia comes up a little short, and great win for Tomball Memorial. But, again, high-scoring games. Every week, it seems like, out there. Out of the Tomball area.
Out of District 25A, we go to 21. Humble and Porter going at it this evening. Porter looking for a 5th straight win. They've been on a real hot streak of late. Taking on the Humble Wildcats this evening. Craig Matthews calling it from Texan Drive Stadium. Take a look.
And they run the option to the left side. And St. Russell keeps it. Great inside move. Cuts to the outside. He gets all the way down. That looks like a touchdown, and it is. dodges. Porter in a zone defense in the secondary. Once again, the give. Oh my goodness, he breaks to the outside. This could be a touchdown, and it will be. Number 3, Austin DeMoss. Woo, my goodness. Let's see, Humble adjusts this pretty quickly. Gives to Carlos Norman. He gets outside. Oh, what a move by Carlos. And it's a touchdown. Russell's now a receiver, so Wildcat Carlos Norman. And he goes in unscathed for the touchdown.
28-13, the final. Porter over Humble. As you saw there at the half, Bert, Humble actually had the lead at the break, 13-7. Great job coming back in the second half by Porter.
Well, and again, you looked at this district, and at that time when Humble looked like they may knock off Porter, boy, with everything going on, K-Park went in last night against Dayton, and, you know, you'll see some highlights from it a little later on here. This district has got some movement going around. Of course, Barbers Hill went in tonight. So, I mean, there's a lot of football left.
Yep, there's no doubt about that, and some exciting football. As you know, we said, you know, the pretenders, contenders, you know, separating themselves here over the next few weeks as we head into playoff time. Splendora and Crosby. You know, we talked about that buzzsaw, and I think Crosby's that team that you know, you want to see a little bit of defense from. I think you saw it a little bit tonight, Bert. Possibly Splendora. They were going to give them all they could possibly handle. And out at Cougar Stadium, Mark Johnson had all the action for you. Take a look. (38-20) there is the final. Crosby stays perfect, improves to 8-0 now. They're amongst one of the top teams in the power rankings that we'll get to here in just a moment. And as you saw that quarterback sneak late by Splendora, look, it made the score a little bit more respectable, Bert, okay? But you wanted defense. Crosby gave you defense this week.
Yeah, they did. You know, and one of the things, and they only put up 38, and you talked about that, you know, before we started the show tonight. You know, it's one of the lowest scoring games Crosby's had.
Right.
And their defense actually played a good game. Had a little bit of technical difficulty out there. Once again, Crosby offense did put 38 points up, and, you know.
I think they came in averaging around 62, 63 points per game, and have been just destroying folks of late. But I told you, Splendora, that's a team that's got a couple of district wins now. They weren't going to go down easy.
No, and again, Crosby, I really believe, is the team that potentially can go deep into the playoffs. You know, you got your Manville, we got some other teams we'll talk about, but this is a team that can get hot. I just have to believe, as we're going through the power rankings, you'll get into some teams that are playing really, really good defense this year and scoring points.
Points. I'm a big fan of that. Bert likes defense. We're all a fan of power rankings. We said there was movement. Take a look right now at the top 10 5A power rankings. Where Crosby was last week is absolutely where they remain this week at number 3. They improved to 8-0. But the movement you see there, Bert, towards the bottom of the top 10 there, Waltrip, Brenham making a couple leaps up, and Tomball and Foster falling a couple spots. Now, if you had to pick one of your top 6 there to creep up or move back down, who do you like here in the next coming weeks?
Well, I mean, the reality is, you know, New Caney's got a drop. New Caney got handled pretty handily tonight by Barbers Hill, so they're going to drop in the ranking. I mean, up at the top, Manville, Angleton, Crosby, Magnolia West, you know, and then from there,
Fort Bend Marshall's got a couple
Brenham
losses.
struggled. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you look at the rest of the rankings there, and it gets a little bit, I don't want to say watered down. Porter, you know, even though they won, Humble isn't really playing that well this year. A lot of changes in the team.
Right.
And so Porter down 13-7. I don't really see them moving up. That doesn't mean that, you know, Coach Holly and his crew won't take that team deep in the playoffs or into the playoffs. But, you know, again, we go back to Westerberg, Barbers Hill has some players back, starting to get hot. Big games left in the season. Know they're playing for, like he said in his interview, just to get into the playoffs.
Right.
But understand, when you're 65-1, you know how to win.
Absolutely.
And he's not in Allen, Texas. He doesn't have one of the biggest 6A classes to choose from. He doesn't have kids from all over the state of Texas wanting to go to school there.
Mm-hmm.
But Barbers Hill, he's made his mark already. He's starting to build a program. And, those kids, when you heard them speak there, they understand. Let's go have fun.
But they seem hungry, too.
Yep.
And I hear that from the coach in the interview that we played for you a little bit earlier. I mean, that kind of scares me or intimidates me a little bit if I'm the opponent. A coach that says, just give us a shot, and we'll show you what we can do. That's got to be a little intimidating for the competition, and I think a lot of teams are going to have to watch out for Barbers Hill. But just the final thought on the 5A power rankings, Tomball's 3-3 now. And they ranked number 9 last week. I expect them to probably fall out of the top 10. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. And Foster's having a little bit of a rough go of it, 5-2. So you see the 5A is a lot different than 6A. You've got some teams up there with a couple of blemishes on their record. It comes down to what are you doing in district and how well are you functioning this time of year in district play.
And we want to hear what your thoughts are. That's the nice part. We have probably somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 people over the next 2 or 3 days will watch this show. And one of the things is, these power rankings, we want to hear from you. TexanLive@gmail.com. It's TexanLive@gmail.com. Tell us who you think should be in there. And, if you want to put in some explanations of why you feel they should be there, we want to hear it. That's one of the things that's so nice about owning the company. I can make the rules as we're doing it on the show.
Explanations, exclamations, just no expletives. We'll just try to keep it clean.
Exactly.
Thursday night action brought to you by Panera Bread is where we take you next. Langham Creek and Cy Springs. The Lobos from Langham Creek looking to stay perfect on their season. They're one of the few teams that can say that about themselves. The Lobos taking on Cy Springs and the Panthers. Scott Weiss had the call from Cy-Fair FCU Stadium last night. Take a look.
He goes to the slot right. Tay Barber in motion across the formation. 5-step drop over the middle. Looking for Sheree. Sheree catches it at the 30. Still on his feet at the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Panthers. It's Cy Springs. Fumbles and a punt so far offensively for the Lobos. This will be their first opportunity here as they're inside the Texan Drive red zone. Pitch it left to Hammond. Looking for the corner. Got there. For Heron. There's the snap. Heron keeps it himself off the right side. Looking for the corner. Touchdown. That'll make it a 20-12 ball game here. There's the snap. 5-step drop. Looking left. Throwing left. Deep to Iki. Iki at the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Lobos.
There you have it, 31-12, the final. The Langham Creek Lobos over the Cy Springs Panthers. They rattled that cage. Panthers getting up 12-0 early in that ball game. 31 unanswered points. Somebody made somebody mad, and the Lobos made the Panthers pay for it last night.
Well, and you look at this team, they're undefeated for a reason. That district is very, very difficult. And, again, you never fear when you're a good team. You're down 12-0. Hey, guys, we got this. You go down, you score a touchdown, get back in the ball game, and then you just put the throttle on, the foot to the floor, and never look back.
I'm always impressed this time of year when teams are faced with deficits, and like Langham Creek was last night, it was early, but these are character-building type of wins. Overcoming a little bit of adversity. Things don't go as well as you'd like them to defensively. And the Langham Creek Lobos obviously able to clean some things up, but get clicking offensively as well from the second quarter on. I mean, it was lights out.
Well, again, you've got to do that. Number one, their defense is playing good football. They give up some points early. They shut them down. So you look at both sides of the coin, and then your offense decides, hey, we're going to do our part. You got a big quarterback running over people, and that's the kind of thing Coach wants to see.
We'll stick with District 17-6A, Cy Ridge, Cy Creek last night. The Rams and Cougars in a rivalry game. Cy Creek holding an 8-6 advantage in the all-time mark. Darren Ayers had the call from Pridgeon Stadium. Take a look.
Jackson and Higway to the left. Jelson Hill to the right. Porter looking to his left. Has Jacoby Jackson by himself. Gonna catch it at the 5, touchdown. Man, what a catch! Leonardo Sutton, touchdown reception. In motion is Sutton. Renteria rolls out to his left. Sutton wide open, touchdown. Leonardo Sutton with a 2-yard touchdown reception. To the right, Dylan Wilkerson. Renteria looking left. Has all day to throw the football to. Looking to throw the football deep, and it's going to be caught by Miles Battle. Touchdown. Porter looks to his left, throwing deep, has a man. Jacoby Jackson catches it inside the 10. Touchdown. A 35-yard touchdown reception by Jacoby Jackson.
What a game. 35-27. Cy Creek takes it over Cy Ridge. Boy, that catch by Miles Battle was absolutely incredible. Just a high point of 50-50 ball. And that ended up making the difference in the ball game, Bert.
Well, it really did. And, and there were several catches there. What a back and forth. And, again, you got two teams. And I go back to defense. You got winners and you got losers. But these teams that are separating themselves from everybody else, they're playing defense every week, and I think you're going to continue to see that. You always see that, especially in the playoffs. You can get away with the first few weeks of track meets, but as you get deeper, your offense, and, I keep going back to Crosby. I've seen them over the last 2 or 3 years feel like they had really, really good teams, but when their offense didn't click on all cylinders, their defense put them in a situation where they lost ball games that I thought that going into the game, they had by far the best team. And Manville kind of had the same situation last year, even with Temple. So
yeah, that's a good point. I think Crosby's showing you something a little bit defensively, and that as a head coach is what you want to see at the end of. Let's be honest. I was out at North Shore this evening, and one of the things that Coach K said before the game is, "Hey guys, just understand where we're at in the season." For North Shore, this is their second to last home game of the season. It was tonight, and they're seniors, and they've got to understand that, we can't take this for granted. So as a head coach, you want your team not just to be clicking on all cylinders offensively, but playing as a team, offense, defense, special teams. Now it's time for everything to look nice, tight, crisp, and to be playing well. District 16-6A, Davis and MacArthur. Davis looking to halt their 3-game skid. Boy, they've been on the tough side of things here recently. Against MacArthur last night, Chase Snyder called it from Thorne. It was a close one.
Simpson going right, has a lane. Simpson inside the 15, inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal coming up. Goal inside the 1. Power I formation. Howard tries to keep it himself. And there's a penalty marker coming in, I believe. Up the middle. Touchdown Davis. Justin Wheatfall, the ball carrier. Has this one blocked. Rolling loose. Picked up. Touchdown MacArthur. Rudolph. Rolls left. Throws on the move. Man open. Touchdown Kevin Walker. Second effort. In for the touchdown. Armando Ordanana.
Boy, a lot of close plays down by the goal lines in that game. Bert MacArthur wins it 21-14, and really, and you hate to see this as a coach. It's got to tear you up inside. The difference in that ball game, the blocked punt and return for 6, just absolutely killer.
Well, like I said, it's a difference in the ball game. I mean, that's the 7 points that won the game. And, again, you want defensive battles, but you also want to see a little more offense than that. And at the end of the day, 21-14, tight game, and another tough loss for Davis.
Right, yeah, another tough loss for Davis. Davis falling to 2-4 now in district play, 2-5 on the season, while MacArthur improves, picking up their 3rd win to now 3-4, and an even 3-3 in District 16-6A play. We move to District 21-5A now. Dayton and Kingwood Park. Dayton looking for their 3rd win on the season, while Kingwood Park was looking to eke above the 500 mark and that elusive 4th win. Losers of 4 straight. The Dayton Broncos look to get back on track and in the win column. Kingwood Park and Dayton. Mark Johnson had the call from Turner Stadium right here in Humble.
At quarterback, number 15, Daniel Brescia.
So off goes the Kingwood Park Panthers. Their first play from scrimmage. It's going to be a touchdown. 1 play, 1 score, 27 yards. Go back in the game. He'll roll, fire to the far side. It's going to be complete and into the end zone for the touchdown. Logan Bartholomew for most of the game when it did matter. Here's the toss downfield. That's a good one. That pass is going to be complete in the end zone for the touchdown. 28-yard strike. 3rd down and 8 this turns into. The pass wide open on the near sideline, and that's going to be caught. Kingwood Park with a 21-yard touchdown strike.
26-7 the final. Kingwood Park and the Panthers win it over the Dayton Broncos. Now 4-3 is Kingwood Park overall and in district play. Nice win for them. And, look, fan of defense, you saw plenty of it there last night from Kingwood Park.
Well, exactly. And Kingwood Park lost a tough game to Porter. Going back, they had the lead late in the ball game. Gave a long pass up for a touchdown. Porter beat them late in the ball game. That game at the time, Kingwood Park really, kind of going back and forth. Didn't really know what kind of team they have. They rolled off a couple victories. That loss is something that could be the difference in making the playoffs, not making the playoffs. But right now, Kingwood Park can do absolutely nothing about that game.
Right.
They've got to play every game as if it's one and done, and they've got to win out and let whatever else take place and hopefully pick up, an opportunity to move into postseason.
Coming up, we'll bring you more Friday night action, including an incredible finish out in District 17-6A. Right now, it's time for the Houston Area Viewers' Choice Player of the Week. This week, it features Cameron Tyler, the junior running back from the Klein Bearcats. Our very own Bailey Logston had the rest.
This week's Viewer's Choice Athlete of the Week, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. From this week's Athlete of the Week, we have from Klein High School, Cameron Tyler. Coach, talk to me about what kind of player and athlete Cameron is.
Well, Cameron's done a good job. He came in the year not as the starter, but he's worked his way in there, and when he has, he's performed. He'd start for a lot of teams, and, he's earned that right for us right now, so I'm very proud of him.
And he's a junior, so him stepping up in that role when he needed to, what does that tell you for the rest of the season and maybe next year?
It's good to know we got him for 2 more years, and Cameron's a hard worker. He doesn't say a lot. He just does his job, and so we're excited about what this season holds for him, and also we get him for another year, so that's also something to look forward to.
Y'all had a big win last week, beating Klein Forest 45-0, so talk to me about that win.
It was a huge win in our district. They're all big, but anytime that got us to the 3-win mark, you got to get 4 to get in the playoffs usually in our district, so we're 1 away, I think, to get in, and our kids played extremely well and executed in all phases of the game, so we just got to carry that momentum into the next week.
All right, Coach, congratulations and good luck with your season.
Thank you very much.
So you had 2 touchdowns, 28 carries, and you rushed for 225 yards. Those are some big numbers to put up in one game. So how are you going to carry that out for the rest of the season?
Coming from a backup, the starter, he's out right now, so I had to come out, do my best, show him that I can do the job when he's hurt or out. So I came back, I did my best, had to put up good numbers, show him that I got what it takes to come out. The team needs me, do what I got to do.
That's awesome. So what would you say would be a goal that you have for your team this year?
Keep doing my best, keep striving to be the best.
Stuff there from Bailey Logsdon catching up with Cam Tyler and the head coach of the Klein Bearcats. Klein 6-1 on the season. Huge game coming up next week against Klein Collins.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of big games next week, so of course Texan Live will be there. We'll get our schedule lined up. Don't know if that game will make the docket. We got to reach out to the ADs and coaches and Coach Drew Sabota, and I believe we'll be okay. Klein coach really enjoyed Bailey coming out, so got to reach out to Darby, make sure he's going to be okay with it, but would like to be out there and possibly try to cover that game.
Make him an offer he can't refuse.
Exactly.
No problem.
Exactly.
Back to some Friday night action. District 21 6A, Summer Creek and Kingwood. Summer Creek blanked 50-0 by Atascocita last week. Looked to rebound in a big way tonight opposite Kingwood. Mike Armstrong and yours truly, Bert Brocker, had the call from Turner. Take a look.
Brings him in motion. Takes the handoff, keeps it himself. Hit hard, but Oakland's going to fall forward. And just like that, Summer Creek Bulldogs move the ball 90 yards down the field for a touchdown drive there. What a great job, and Holcomb a big part of that, whether it be with his arm or with his running ability. Good mix of play there. Coach Ford mixing up the signal calling down there. Leighton in the shotgun formation here. Got trips out to his left, to his right. Takes the snap, rolls back. That's picked off. That's going to be a touchdown. Wow. Touchdown! That right there is the pitch and catch. Several times. That is a timing throw right there. Outside shoulder ball. Nobody else can catch it. Takes a snap. Johnson's got one man to beat. To the 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown Bulldogs! We'll call it first and go, even though it's first and 10. Slayton rolls out. Got a man wide open. Touchdown Mustangs. I'm Holcomb. Drops back. Going to throw the out pattern out there. Little separation. That ball is going to be caught.
There you have it, 34-7. No. Am I reading the right score? What was
you are.
34-7. I had a brain
Summer
zap.
Creek Bulldogs.
You know what I needed to hear? I needed to hear Bulldogs. There we go. Bert Brocker, not a bad job on the play-by-play. That's what I needed to hear. 34-7. I was kind of having a brain zap there for a second. Summer Creek, though, 5-2 now on the season. Look.
Yeah, they only have one loss in district.
Blanked 50-0 last week, though, by Atascocita. They had a lot of offensive frustrations maybe built up. They needed to take it out on somebody. Just so happened Kingwood, look, took the brunt of it from North Shore last week. Was the victim.
And that's another game that's left. Summer Creek and North Shore still have each other in a
couple weeks.
That's a game that Atascocita just jumped out defensively, played what I understood almost a perfect game. I was not at that game, just saw some of the action. Of course, I was coming back from Rockport Fulton, and Rockport Fulton won tonight. Thanks again to Fox Sports Southwest. I was in there catching up. They won and put themselves in the driver's seat to actually get to the playoffs. So, I mean, what a story would that be? And that would just absolutely be unbelievable. Gatwin, all the crew there last week.
Yeah.
And that would just mean so much to those kids and to that community down there.
Well, I think you guys brought them a little good mojo or some good karma when you made the trip down there.
I hope so.
Good stuff. All right, Cy Lake, Cy Ranch. We head back out to District 17-6A. Struggling Cy Lake's offense, trying to get back on track a little bit last week against Cy Woods, scoring 20 points. Could they carry over the momentum? That was the major question coming into tonight's game. Pettin Delgadillo had the call from Cy Fair FCU Stadium. Take a look.
Looks like he stands about 6'1". They're going to hand this one off to Pino. Pino down to the end zone. Touchdown, Mustangs. He's got enough leg. Will it go? It's good. Pritzkow with a 50-yard field goal. Fred Brooks on first down, calls for the ball. Little swing pass. Nice reception. West has some room at the 30, 20, inside the 10, 5, and he's forced out of bounds. West to his right. Brooks on a quick screen. Completed. West, end zone. Touchdown, Mustangs.
Mustangs stifled the Spartans 27-0, shut them out in more ways than just one. Cy Lakes came in tonight looking for their first win, Bert. They will not get it, that elusive first win. They got a few weeks to get it. They're now 0-7 on the season, though. Cy Ranch improving to 5-2 and a big district win, now 5-2 in district as well.
Well, and it is. I mean, in this district right now, the way it's lining up, Cy Ranch is in a place they haven't been. They're used to winning every game. And so this year, they're actually in that looking from the outside in, but they continue to win, they continue to build, and again, their defense is playing very salty. And, that's, as I continue to say, defense, special teams, those things all add up as you get into this thing that's coming up here in about 2 weeks, which is called postseason.
Right. It's just tough when you have Langham Creek and you've got Cy Fair in the same district, and they're playing as good a football as they are. I mean, Cy Ranch is taking care of business. They get their 5th win this evening. It's an embarrassment of riches in that district right now.
Well, it is, and that's a very, very tough district. We talk about it all the time. You got a lot of good schools. Now, the one thing that you do have is you got schools that play competitive football week in and week out.
Right.
And a lot of districts, I can remember talking to Tony Heath, Pearland for a long time, kind of was the dominant one in their district and wasn't really challenged week in and week out. So when you got into playoffs and you got yourself into a situation where you were playing a tough opponent, your kids really hadn't been there. You're not trial ready. So, you look at this district and you say, hey, they have a lot of teams that go deep into the playoffs. They have teams that, win state championships and in multiple sports, and that's because they play week in and week out competitive at a high level.
We'll stay in that tough district. 17-6A, Cy Falls, Jersey Village this evening. Battle of the Eagles and Falcons. Jersey Village looking to pull off an upset tonight opposite Cy Falls. Eric Folkerts had the call from Pridgeon Stadium.
First and 10 on the Eagles. Now pump fake to the left. Here's Richardson, and he's past the defense, and he is going in for the touchdown. Brothers busting right through the middle. He's got a chance to go 50, 40, 30, 20. Can he get one more man to beat 10, 5. Touchdown, Eagles. Johnson waiting for the snap. Oh, the Eagles jumped off sides. They got a free play if they take advantage of it. Jump ball up to Jones, and he makes the catch in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown. Flowers in the backfield. Johnson now gives to Flowers. Flowers out around the left side. He's got blockers. He's got some room to run. He has split the defenders, and he is in for the touchdown. Now we're ready. Johnson looking. Oh, now he's hit as the ball's delivered, and it's intercepted by the Falcons, and we're going back the other way. This is DeAndre Collins, their all-purpose, all-world linebacker, trying to get in the end zone. He is going to be knocked down, but he is across for the touchdown. This is going to be a 26-yard field goal. The snap is back. The hold is down. The kick is up, and it is true. We've seen him run quarterback sneak out of this. Now he's up under center. Runs quarterback sneak again. I don't think he got out. Let's see the spot. Both referees are running in, looking at each other. The Cy Falls Eagles are calling for a safety, and it is a safety.
incredible finish there. Jersey Village hanging on 24-23 over Cy Falls. The Falcons get their first district win of the season, upsetting the Eagles. Incredible.
Well, and again, made a field goal to go up 24-21, and then you give up a safety.
You needed every bit of those last 3 points.
And you hold on for dear life to end up winning, but great victory for them. And again, Cy Falls now, I believe it's 3-3. So, again, this is one of those deals you cannot lose right now in this district if you want to get into postseason.
Cy Falls coming in 3-3, now 3-4 on the season. So tough defeat for them. 16-6A is where we take you out to for our final Friday night game. Nimitz and Eisenhower. The Cougars and Eagles going at it. Eisenhower with an ugly win last week, Bert. You remember that one opposite MacArthur, 11-0 just 1 week ago. Looked to hand Nimitz a second straight loss themselves in district play. Paul DeVore had the call at Thorne. Take a look.
Eagles hurry to the line. They want to go quickly. They will bring Teyak Nyakwal to the near side with a receiver slotted inside of him. Ball spotted at the far hash. They go quickly. Town's going to keep it. Going to press forward, and he's going to be in for a touchdown. So ball spotted on the near hash at the 39-yard line. This time it's Darius Ruffin on the sweep on the far side, and Ruffin's got the 50. Ruffin down the far sideline at the 30. One man to beat. Darius Ruffin into the end zone. Touchdown. Back to passes. Brooks throws to the far side. That one's going to be intercepted. Down the far sideline. Streaking. Brooks to beat. Inside. Stays in bounds. Touchdown, Cougars. Christian Martin.
16-13, Eisenhower wins it over Nimitz. Eisenhower now 3-4 on the season, improves to 2-3 in district, while Nimitz falls to 3-2 in district play. This was a big win for Eisenhower.
Well, yeah, because Nimitz, Westfield, okay, that's a tough game. Westfield, you know what Meakin's got those kids and how they're playing right now. But this is a game on paper you're not supposed to lose if you're Nimitz. Nimitz tried to fight back in this ball game, but Eisenhower did what they're supposed to do. They held on and got a victory.
Absolutely. That ugly 11-0 game last week, maybe a little bit of a character building situation or moment for Eisenhower coming into this one. They knew they could, play and win ugly. Well, they did so again this week. So a good win for Eisenhower, and we'll see how important this defeat is for Nimitz down the road. But we're going to take a look at the Saturday games coming up now on TexanLive.com this weekend. 5 games on the docket from District 19-6A to 24-6A. Heather Kelfie previews.
Coming up Saturday on Texan Live, it all starts at 11 in the morning with Katy Taylor and Morton Ranch facing off, with both teams hoping to reach the postseason. Strake Jesuit squares off with Mayde Creek at noon. At 1, Cy Fair looks to stay perfect as they take on Cy Woods. Dickinson is on the road at Clear Creek, and capping it all off at 4 is undefeated Westville at Aldine. Texan Live, your home for live and on-demand high school sports.
I think it's fair to say all eyes going to be on that Cy Fair game as they look to stay undefeated and move to a perfect 7-0 on Saturday, Bert. I mean, we just mentioned it, Cy Fair, Langham Creek, that tough district of 17-6A. I mean, it's there. People are talking about it. And look, the Cy Woods Wildcats have an opportunity to really pull off an upset there and give them all they can handle.
Well, they really do. But another game that you kind of jumped over right there, Dickinson, after beating Ridge Point in double overtime, loses to Friendswood. Friendswood loses tonight to Clear Lake in a close one. And so that district, same type thing. If Dickinson wants to make the postseason, which 3 weeks ago they knocked off Ridge Point, which was a top 10 ranked team, and looked like, hey, Dickinson's real, and all of a sudden they lose 2 district games, and all of a sudden they're in a bad place. So a lot of great football. We will continue to do what we do. We will try next week to make it clear of how the playoffs are looking, what seeds, what direction, but there are big games. But one of the things I want to talk about, I started out with area league football, Kingwood Football League, Humble Football League, and that's where I kind of started out covering some of the youth sports. Tomorrow, these young men, you've got freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior leagues playing their Super Bowls, and Texan Live is actually bringing those games live for free. Of course, presented by TexanDrive.com, and they're getting to play at Turner Stadium. So all these young men tomorrow are getting to play their Super Bowl and do it looking up. And, you know, it's kind of like when you walk into a big college stadium and you, for the first time, and you go, wow, this is cool.
Sure.
And it's the same thing for these young men. They'll get an experience tomorrow to play in a high school stadium that's, you know, Turner Stadium's as good as it gets.
Absolutely. And, you know, you've got the brand new field turf over there. It's not like, you know, back in the day, we had opportunity to go to the Astrodome with the carpet, you know, that they called AstroTurf.
Exactly.
That didn't feel too good.
Couple rolling heels.
That didn't feel too good. Those kids are going to absolutely love that experience this weekend, Bert. So great stuff there. Hopefully we'll get to see a little bit of movement in the 6A power rankings from now into our next week's show. Looking forward to that. And, you know, as we talked about that, there's some teams that have got to sort of take a spill amongst the top 5. And I think those 7 through 10 teams, Bert, could move up a little bit. I can't wait to see here in the coming week, you know, who is actually pretenders and, you know, just serious contenders out of that group.
And I want to make sure I jump on that again. Give us your opinion. Give us who you think the top 10 should be. Go back, play it, look at who ours is. If you have teams out there, we'll look at everything. We have about 40 people that vote for the power rankings. We'll look at what the viewers think. You can go to texanlive@gmail.com and send us what rankings you want to see and where you think teams should line up. Another great show tonight, Sean. Just keeps getting better and better. And looking forward to, it really isn't week 11. Russell, Jesse, production back there, all the great crew we have out in the field all week.
Right.
You know, got over 35 people out there doing interviews, shooting coaches, calling games, and just what I love. I'm sure by now y'all figured that out, giving back to the communities. And
no question. And, you know, just remember, hey, share us on Facebook, you know, tweet at us. Definitely, we want to do this for the community. I mean, this is absolutely for you guys. And again, Bert, it's what you love to do. This is your absolute passion. So we appreciate you watching each and every week. Make sure you check out TexanLive.com. That's going to do it for the show. Appreciate you watching the Texan Live High School Football Wrap-Up Show in partnership with Cron.com. For Bert Brocker, our entire team here at Texan Live, I'm Sean Bajani. Have a great weekend, everybody.
1, 2, 3, jump.